Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is CherryBoy, and welcome back to A Light in the Dark. Let's get right back into it. Let's try to find something useful when she's not around. Observe. Observation mode. Okay. The sofa. The synthetic leather is all ragged, with the cotton inside of it exposed like some gutted dead body. What a bad omen. Yeesh. The chair. It is a simple wooden chair, unpolished, just like the desk. It is quite rough, as though it was actually made by hand. I'm not sure how old this chair is, but I can almost smell its level of decay. Yeesh. Yeah. It is a rectangular wooden desk. The rough, unprocessed surface has sawdust all over it. It looks like it's well worn with time. I wouldn't want to pick it up, even if I found it at a recycling center. Whoa, wait, with the rolls. Oh, I think I used all my actions. Day 1, noon. The sunlight shone through the window at a certain angle, adding some dynamism. Sorry about that. To the dark room. Even the moldy smell seemed to be much fainter. Damn it. The girl walked back and forth in the room, anxiety clear on her face. What's wrong? Your dad doesn't believe you're with us. What an idiot. Why not let it talk to me? Yeah. Why not let him talk to me? Ow! Oh, come on! Shut up. Who do you think you are? Did I ask you for your opinion? Triggering her sensitive nerve, she threw me another kick. I just think it might be more effective. No one cares what you think. Shut up and wait for the ransom. Got it? What's so funny? You think I won't lay a finger on you? She frowned upon hearing my laughter, and then took out her weapon threateningly. No, it's just that I'm not that important to him. What do you mean? Noticing how odd my statement was, she raised her eyebrow and followed up. I haven't contacted my family for a long time. Our relationship isn't as close as you may think. Ever since I got kidnapped, I've been wondering if I should tell her that or not. I was a poor choice for a hostage. Maybe she would let me go, or silence me instead. However, it was only a matter of time before she found out, so I might as well have been transparent here. Why? Rebellious phase or something? He's self-centered, or maybe just a workaholic. My complicated family relationship was hard to explain in a few words. I was deciding how to piece my sentences together to answer her question. He spends half a year abroad and never cares about the family. He will work till midnight, even when he is back in Taiwan. I don't even see him that often on holidays. It's always about the company. It's all for the stockholders and employees, blah blah blah. In my opinion, it's all for his own ego. Whether it was my graduation, birthday, or even car accident, he never showed up. Not even a single damn call. Clearly, his job is far more important than me. He probably wouldn't even know about the accident if not for the hospital calling an emergency contact. Eee, darn. I tried to shrug, but my tied-up hands made it impossible. Anyway, he doesn't care if I'm dead or alive. He might even feel relieved about me getting kidnapped. Sorry about that, but you would have better luck with his secretary. Well, if you let me go now, I can even tell you his secretary's number as a bonus. I proposed to her half-jokingly, yet her reaction was unexpected. She didn't open her mouth, instead just looking at me coldly from beside the window. You think that's funny? To my surprise, she walked to me while flipping her hair. You think you deserve sympathy? Want me to pity you? She grabbed my collar and pulled me so close I could feel her breath. Car accident? Hospitalized? Your daddy doesn't give a shit about you? Be freaking grateful that he didn't leave you a pile of debt? You think everyone has a happy family? School, meals, a home? So many things you take for granted aren't the case for us. Stop acting like some victim if you know nothing. You just make me want to puke. Every word was delivered clearly. Her voice contained a certain indescribable weight. Seeing me not responding, she let go of my collar and spat on the ground angrily. I'm wasting my time. Realizing she might have spoken too much, she turned her head away and returned to the window like a bursted bubble. Well, that didn't work. I sighed lightly. Things wouldn't be that easy after all. It was true I wanted to win her pity, but that was no lie either. A father always working and a mom never home. That's the image of my family. Every time I was home, all I could see upon opening the door was the vast, empty living room. I noticed how big the house was, so big that I could feel only emptiness. I breathed out, raised my head, and looked at that small part of the sky from the window. The only lie was that I no longer felt hurt by it. Day 1. Night. The story is getting deeper. Hunger. Night came, and I'd eaten nothing but some crackers. I never knew starving could be this uncomfortable. She didn't seem to eat anything either. She was either staring at her phone or smoking while I looked out the window. There were a few phone calls, but they were all made outside, so I couldn't hear them. I didn't know what they discussed, but it didn't appear the negotiation with my family was smooth. After all the hesitation, I decided to ask her. What? I need to go to the bathroom. She stole a glance at me, but acted as though she heard nothing. I said I need to go to the bathroom. I repeated myself. This time she slowly turned towards me. You. She probably didn't expect my physiological needs. She opened her mouth awkwardly, but couldn't say anything. Can't you figure something out on your own? Clearly the type that got angry when having nothing to say, she turned her head with a stern face, knocking on the desk with her knuckle. Realizing this might be a chance to make her untie the rope, I grew silent. Not knowing my plan, she acted carefree, but kept stealing glances in my direction. Since it was about time, I sighed innocently. Guess I have to do it here after all. Wait! Seeing I wasn't joking, she stopped me with a darkened face. Are you a retard? Can you go to the bathroom yourself? Staying in an old house was one thing, but even a kidnapper wouldn't want to stay in a room filled with crap. But I can't even unzip myself like this. You are so annoying! She pushed me to the wall, suddenly and turned me over. What on? I panicked over not seeing anything. I tried to turn myself back, but only hold a cold voice next to my ear. Be quiet. She pressed my body with her elbow, and I felt a cold sensation on my back. No question about what that was. No talking, no struggling. If you move, I stab. If you yell, I stab. She wasn't going to castrate me, was she? She knew that even without my genitals, I still need to go to the bathroom, right? Struggle, bear it. Just bear it. To make her angry. I kept under control and made sure I didn't speak, quietly awaiting her next move. Suddenly, the restriction on my hands disappeared. Oh. It was quite a relief, both mentally and physically. My hands were finally free, and I felt all my energy was used up. I never thought moving freely could bring such happiness. Even my shoulders and neck felt much better. If I could move my hands, my chance of escape was much higher. Raise your hands. As though she saw through me, I saw the sharp knife when I turned around. I told you to raise your hands! Wait a sec. I won't... She was totally not giving me a chance to explain myself. Not risking my own life, I raised my hands obediently. I can't escape, even without the rope. Who'd be so dumb as to fight someone with a knife? She ignored my nagging and showed no hesitation with her movements. My happiness evaporated instantly. Within a minute of freedom, I returned to being a prisoner. One glance at the bathroom, and antiqued was the only word I could think of to describe it. The old bathroom naturally wasn't huge. The light from the window was the only illumination, and the air smelled of mold. The tiles were engulfed with dirt, the bathtub covered in tiles, and the ink green toilets all looked like products of the last century. The drain was so nasty I couldn't even look at it. Dang. I tried to make a face in the mirror, but the reflection was so blurry I couldn't even recognize myself. Yeesh. My effort to tear the rope was in vain. I moved my tied hands back and forth, but I couldn't remove it without some tool. If I could find some sort of sharp item, like a razor or broken tile. Done yet? You better not have any funny ideas. Almost done. She sounded impatient outside the door. To avoid suspicion, I chose not to stay too long. I prepared to leave after finishing my business. Bathroom breaks were the only time I was by myself. If only I could find some weapons. I twisted the faucet. Surprisingly, there was still running water. Upon exiting, she immediately moved closer in case I was hiding something. From the rope to my pocket, she didn't miss any detail. There's nothing, really. Even the body search didn't seem to remove her suspicion of me, as though there was no way I could be this obedient. It'll be fine if I cooperate, right? I'm not brave enough to risk my life. You better not be. You're the only one in trouble if you try to escape. If the rope can't hold you, I wouldn't mind breaking your leg. Making that final threat, she returned to the window and lit a cigarette. She tiredly supported her head. The messy hair hid her expression, making it hard to tell her thoughts, which seemed to disappear with the cigarette smoke. Hey. She recklessly went through my cell and asked suddenly, "Why don't you have your mom's number here?" I accidentally deleted it. Oh? She's busy. No time for me. Having no intention to talk about my family, I tried to end the topic quickly, yet she started laughing mockingly. So busy that she doesn't even know her son was kidnapped? Isn't your dad the only one working? What is she busy with? Shopping, afternoon tea, buying luxury purses abroad? How biased can you be? I was fed up with her unreasonable attitude, trying to paint rich people as pigs, drowning in money and all sorts of luxury. They had no ability nor brains, and were only good at ordering people around with money, exhausted their employees every day just to earn more money to waste. I didn't know how many people believed in such stereotypes, always suspecting others were doing something illegal if they had a better life than themselves. They didn't ponder the reason behind those differences, but simply lamented the social injustice and cursed others' success. Such blind hatred of the rich was simply laughable. All these claims of they are just lucky and rely on their parents, I could do the same if I were rich, were just to propel forward their self-righteousness. Biased? Hearing my words, she snorted and raised her eyebrow in disapproval. Are you kidding me? Aren't you the one with a bias? What can you achieve without a diploma? Hey, who let people like her in? Watch out, she must be a thief if she's this poor. Aren't these your slogans? Ha! After her lively imitation, she burst into laughter, a voice filled with self-deprecation. I would like to know what I've done to deserve all your bias. Her tone sounded like one who had been through much discrimination. I wasn't sure what sort of experience had led to such an extreme mindset. Yet such words from the mouth of a kidnapper seemed only to prove those biased statements. Whatever. She turned her head and was unwilling to say more. Night arrived. Her eyes sparkled like stars and focused on some faraway place I couldn't reach. It couldn't be helped. I know that. The world isn't fair. The girl's whisper was barely audible, and I wasn't sure if it was directed at me or to herself. It echoed within the room like some spell and stayed for a long time. Wow, this story is pretty deep. Oh, get the loading screen. Okay. Many things were easier than expected. She never knew kidnapping could be this easy. He was taken without any sort of resistance. The girl looked at the boy next to the wall, who curled his body up to preserve some warmth. The short and rapid breathing seemed to indicate he couldn't find peace, even in a dream. Uncertain if he had really fallen asleep, the girl didn't close her eyes, despite her drowsiness, afraid he might escape if she wasn't careful. Once she got the ransom, she could start a new life, away from the stigma and boredom. The cell phone flashed a notification. Some hesitation flew across the girl's face, but it reverted back to the same look of sternness. She had long decided that it didn't matter what it would take. So long had she lived for someone else, it was time to fight for her own right. The narrator, I suppose. Interesting. Alright, day 2, Silence Girl. Let's save. I'm into this. Save. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. Next. Here we go. Alright. Day 2, morning. So cold. I didn't feel better after I slept. Instead, I felt even more tired. I was hoping to find a chance to escape when she fell asleep. However, time passed, and she didn't show any sign of closing her eyes. I couldn't help but fall asleep first. The last thing I saw was her lighting another cigarette. Dang, she's smoking like a chimney. My body must have been really exhausted. Really been exhausted if I could fall asleep like that. Whoa, there she is. I opened my eyes and... Oh no, it's someone else. I opened my eyes in a daze and saw an unfamiliar face right before me. Ah! I jumped back, reflexively, and tried to shield my chest with my hands. Yet my tied-up hands reminded me of my kidnapped status. Regardless, I was shocked by this new face. I stared at the new girl before me. The first thing I noticed were her beautiful eyes. Clean, light brown, like pieces of amber. Her thick coat and dark red sweater looked pretty old. Her small body suggested she might have been in junior high, so she was clearly unfit for a place like this. Whoa, I didn't know who she was, but I easily noticed the knife in her hand. She stared straight at me, but showed no signs of speaking, which somehow emitted an inexplicable pressure. Who are you? I tried to ask her, but she refused to answer and shook her head. She was on guard of my every movement with pursed lips. There was no sign of the kidnapper around. There was only the two of us in the room. In other words, a good chance to escape. Ask for help, try to struggle. Let's ask for help. Can you untie the rope for me? Head shaking. Seeing she had no intention to help, I tried to untie it myself. Her expression vividly changed upon noticing my attempt. Don't move! As expected. Only another victim, or the accomplice, would be here. If she wasn't tied up and instead held a knife, then she must be my guard. The quiet girl and the antisocial one. What a bizarre combo. This sort of plot in a movie would have easily triggered the haters. It appeared reality could be more ridiculous than fiction. I breathed out and couldn't help but laugh out of stress. I had no idea why they would pick her as a partner. I could defeat someone of her size even if she held a knife, assuming she was alone. Is there anyone else here? There would be no progress if I didn't strike up a conversation. I decided to speak proactively after giving it some thought. She stared at me tightly with no response, making one wonder if she understood. You were asked to guard me, right? Still no response. Can you untie the rope for me? I can't feel them now, and if it stays like this... She shook her head, finally speaking after being silent for a while. Big sis told me not to listen to you. Her voice was light and quiet, like smoke in the air. I finally heard her speak, yet it was frustrating to hear something so pointless. Who is this so obedient? Who is this big sis? So obedient. I know who the big sis is, most likely. What an obedient kid. Do you even know what you are doing? Hearing my mockery, she only frowned and said nothing. Bad choice. Different from the kidnapper yesterday, she had no intention to hurt me, nor talk to me. Or rather, she was avoiding any contact with me. Do you have anything to eat? Don't tell me your sister doesn't allow that either. I had no strength with an empty stomach. I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday, and my stamina went out faster in this cold weather. I had to save my energy for my chance. This was a war of attrition. Either she'd let me go, or I'd give up first. Answering with action, she put a bowl on the ground, grabbed the water ball with difficulty, and carefully poured some into it. Here. She handed me the bowl, and then brought me a pack of crackers. Worrying I might escape, she never moved her gaze away from me. The hand grasping the knife never loosened up. Observing her actions quietly, I hoped to read her thoughts, but couldn't discern anything except stress. I drank the water with much effort, spilling quite a bit on my clothes due to my tied-up hands. My clothes were wet again after finally getting dried. The hard crackers tasted like pure flour alone, hard to swallow, even with water. I knew it was not the time to be picky, and to cherish any opportunity to replenish my strength. Noticing her conflicting gaze, I asked, "What's wrong?" Big sis is not a bad person. She will let you go when she gets the money. So please, don't move. Say something. I will cooperate. I will cooperate. I will cooperate. At least for now. I didn't finish the full sentence, but she already looked happy and clearly dropped her guard a little. Organizing the information I could gather, I started to plan my next steps. Would the teacher notice something was wrong if I hadn't gone to the cram school for 2 days? Unlikely, considering how often I skipped it. Unless it lasted long enough, but even in the worst case scenario, they would only contact the parents instead of the police. I started to regret not having more friends who would notice me going missing. Expecting her to let me go upon getting the ransom, would it really be that easy? Remembering that vague smile, I didn't feel very assured. The girl was squatting next to the wall and stared at me while hugging her legs. There was no curiosity in her eyes, as though nothing interested her here. She was just guarding this place at someone else's behest. Big sis, huh? Considering their relationship, it was unlikely she planned the kidnapping. She was most likely just an accomplice following orders. Unlike some stereotypical bad girls who smoked or dyed their hairs, she looked like a well-behaved but shy kid. At least, if I hadn't met her in this situation. So who was planning all of this? Somehow I felt things weren't as simple as they seemed. There were too many points of suspicion if they were the ones planning this. Even carrying me here should have been problematic for them. Also, the person she was contacting concerned me as well. Hey. I called out to catch her attention and tried to start a conversation. She was younger than the kidnapper yesterday, and with much less animosity, there might have been a chance to convince her. How did you get my information? You're a student, right? Do you know what you're doing? She stared at me with no change of expression. I wasn't sure if she heard me. This might be even more troublesome than the other one. I could at least guess my kidnapper's thoughts if there were some sort of conversation. I was only wasting my time here at this rate. I don't know what she told you, but this is a kidnapping. I tried to sound more threatening to make her talk. There will be punishment, even if you are underage, and that would involve your family too, do you know that? They're just using you. They might blame this all on you later. Big sis would not do that. She abruptly interrupted me. How can you be so sure? Just because she was kind to you? Do you think she would still be on your side by then? Finally making her talk, I tried to push forward. Has she told you her plan after getting the money? Do you really know her? Big sis would not do such a thing. You are the one who doesn't know her. She interrupted me loudly and stood up all of a sudden, with her little body shaking. I didn't expect such a big reaction. Perhaps her relationship with her big sis was closer than I thought. Of course I don't know your big sis. I stopped for a few seconds and stared at her coldly. All I know is that she is a kidnapper. That's all that matters. Liar! You don't know why, big sis. She raised the knife and yelled at me with her chest heaving up and down, but swallowed the word before the key part. Why then? Big sis is just... Facing my questioning, she lowered her gaze. Worrying she might get too agitated and really harm me, I decided to change the subject, despite my desire to continue. Anyway, I don't get it, but you better give it some thought. I coldly ended the conversation, leaving her staring at me hesitantly. No matter how much faith one had in others, no one would still stay still after hearing those words. I wasn't sure how effective that was. I could only wait and see. It's not like that. Not able to retort, she squatted next to the wall in depression, mumbling with her head in her arms. Seeing her almost about to cry made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I would do anything as long as I could get out of here. Besides, they were the ones at fault here. There should be no sense of guilt involved, even if I hurt them a little. Let's try to strike up a conversation with her. Okay. Sorry. Okay, but that's all the time I have for this one today, but thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and if there's any other games you would like me to play, please leave a comment down below. If you like this and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, as that would be epically appreciated of you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is CherryBoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!